find that a lot of young people's college experience is making them even more conservative because professors are just so leftist and Marxist, and that's what leads a lot of young people to be conservative because a lot of young people aren't really learning their conservatism in school. Maybe some at home, but even that I would say is maybe even less, especially with spiritual things, as you mentioned. So they're really picking these things up, maybe from, digital, maybe from other ways, or just from kind of seeing how crazy the left is.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, look, all the institutions are working against us, and this has been the problem that we face, that we have slowly ceded ground in all these major institutions, academia, pop culture, the media, whatever it is. We've ceded ground left, right, and center, and the left has taken over these institutions slowly over the years, and now they're using it against us. And you talk about higher ed, the colleges, even primary school. They're using these places as indoctrination centers where they're turning the children against their parents. They're indoctrinating them into leftist ideology. They're not necessarily giving them a classical education that's going to prepare them for life. They're giving them an education in ideology and turning them against their country, their family, their beliefs, their principles. And this is something we have to work actively against. It just shows that the odds are stacked against us. I do think that also leads to a sort of counterbalance where many people will push back and be repulsed by it and naturally rebel against it. But that's not enough. That's just sort of a natural occurrence. We need to be proactively engaged in fighting back against this indoctrination and returning them either to their roots that they were raised in their families, or bringing them over to our side through the public square, through persuasion. And the left understands that. That's why they also try to clamp down in the form of big tech on the public square, on communicating, the use of memes, the use of videos, the use of messaging, tweets, whatever it is that gets our message out there and shapes and changes people's political persuasion. That's why we're fighting in a multi-front war here, and we can't just focus on one area or the other, and we can't cede ground to the left. I think a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives, they have this mentality that they just want to be left alone. They want to retreat. They want to move to a safe red state. They don't want to be bothered. But the left doesn't play by those rules. They don't care that you want to be left alone. You will be canceled. You will be doxxed. You will lose your job. And I think it's also happening to many young people who are getting into their first jobs at a college. I mean, corporate America is another area that the left has completely taken over, and many of them are going into these woke corporations and also, dealing with the same thing they just dealt with in college. So we have to fight across the board. We can't let it down, and that's why we need people like Trump, who is a fighter, who's willing to get in the arena and fight back. And many people don't like it. They don't like his style. But that's the kind of style, that's the kind of brute force that's necessary, especially in the digital age. I mean, they used to say that candidates who were good on radio will win elections, who had the voice for radio. Candidates then who were good on television could win elections, like JFK over Nixon. And now it's candidates who understand social media, who understand the digital landscape and understand the times we're living in and how to fight back. People like Donald Trump, those are the people that we need to be our fighters, to be our champions, because they're willing to take the fight to them rather than always play defense. So that's part of it, and it's certainly troubling the type of things that we're facing on college campuses and in corporate America.